Hey everyone. We are live for our last session of the AppSmash Festival. And I'm Tisha from Wakelet, and I'm here with Kacie from Lumio. We are so excited to have all of you join and learn about the power of Lumio with Wakelet, Wakelet with Lumio. And Kacie's going to show you some really, really fun things. So we hope you're ready. I see a lot of you in the chat. Kacie, do you happen to see anybody that you recognize either from your team or some of your community?
I see a few community members in here, which is exciting. Lots of people coming to us from all over the globe, which is awesome. I always love to learn from so many people outside of my small space in this world. So that's great to see so many people here.
And shout out to our Polish community, our Croatian community. We have so many people from all over the world, and it is so good to see all of you. We have people from Finland and Scotland, and Lydia is from North Texas. It looks like Lydia has been here, Kacie, for the majority of the day, which is not surprising because she loves a good AppSmash.
Me too. That was one of my favorite things when they first had like Web 2.0 when I was in the classroom, like putting all the fun pieces together. I loved doing that. So this was right up my alley. And of my favorite tools. And I don't know about you guys, I can't believe it's the end of the AppSmash event because you guys have had so many of my favorite tools and seeing how they can all work together. Lots of things turning in my head too.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I've said this on a couple of the webinars that I've hosted, but I think it's so really fun and says a lot about our community when they're taking just a pause, taking a moment to hop on a webinar. It may or may not be the only time of day that they are really stopping and allowing other people to pour into them, which I highly recommend because Kacie and I both were educators in the classroom, just like all of you. So we understand how difficult it can be to find a moment and also not be the one pouring into hundreds of people all day. So we're excited to share with you. I know Kacie has some really cool stuff to show you. And yes, so many different tools, so many different combinations. I think one of the things I haven't even thought about, and I think Kacie, you're going to show this a little bit, but it isn't just limited to Wakelet and Lumio. We've seen a couple of things where we're taking a Lumio and a Wakelet along with a Flip or a Canva or an Adobe. And so it really is like a recipe. You can put whatever ingredient you want into that for student engagement, which is so exciting.
Absolutely.
So what do you think? Do you want to get started? And that way we have some time to show them Lumio?
Yeah, that's great. I see some people that are writing in that they're new to Lumio. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here to learn a little bit about Lumio too. I think that you'll find if you love Wakelet that you're going to really love how to integrate some of the pieces that Lumio has and really bring Wakelet to the forefront of your classroom for students, and not just for students. If you're someone working with educators as well, so if you are working as an instructional technology person or a curriculum instructional person, these tools are really great for you too, whether you're delivering training, whether you're trying to put resources together for your teachers. I think these two tools work great together for all of those different purposes.
Absolutely. And I just really quickly before Kacie gets started, I want to remind all of you that there will be a link at the end of the session. It will go to a form. You'll fill out the form. You will get your certificate. You will get the templates and all of the resources that Kacie and I are showing you today. In addition to that, I just want to make sure if you are on YouTube and you are following along in the chat, if you are not seeing live chat, there is an option at the very top of your chat to switch back and forth between live chat and top chat. And you probably want to switch that to live chat so you can see the comments as they come in and see any links that we're going to share. Be ready because Kacie has an activity in Lumio for you all to do so that you can test it out. So just be ready for that. Kacie, I'm going to let you take over now.
All right, so we thought we'd start with a quick look at what both tools are. So some of you might know what Wakelet is, some of you might know what Lumio is, but want to make sure that we kind of level set really quickly so everyone's sort of on the same page. So we'll start with a little look at Lumio. So Lumio is a web-based tool, so it works on any device with a web browser. And the great thing is it allows us to take content that we have and then layer in some really great interactivity tools and deliver those activities to student devices, any device that they have that has a web browser. So iPads, Chromebooks, laptops, whatever they have. So you can start with things that you have. So if you love Canva, we have a new, I'm very excited. We have a new partnership with Canva too. So we can actually take our Canva designs and export them straight into Lumio and then layer some of my favorite features from Lumio on top of that Canva design. But we can also pull in Google Slides, PowerPoints, Google Docs, PDFs, you name it, we can do it all put together. You can mix and match as well. And then I think where Lumio really shines is bringing in that interactivity. So being able to add game-based activities. We have 12 different templates that you can create quick and easy games, 5 minutes or less. You can get student data so you can see how students are doing on those games. Great for review or introducing new topics. We have tons of ready-made content like graphic organizers and manipulatives. So I don't know about you, but time is always a limited resource in the classroom. And so having some great tools that are for our students that we can just pull in and use, I think is really powerful as well. And then being able to take any of that content and we can convert any of our pages into one of 3 activities. It could be an individual handout where students can work individually. We could put students in small groups, or we can even put students in a whole class whiteboard where everyone's sort of working in one space. And we can deliver those lessons live where students are kind of following along with us, and we can switch between teacher and student pacing. Or the real power too is that we can give a student share link where students can work asynchronously. And I think that's really powerful way to use Lumio with Wakelet for sort of that student playlist and kind of letting them walk through the learning experience together.
Okay, I'm back. Kacie knows. Kacie is maybe the co-captain of Team Chaos. If you've been following along with Wakelet, Team Control and Team Chaos, Kacie is definitely on our team. And we love that because that really just brings out the creativity. And so, Kacie, I am managing comments and making sure that we are engaging in the chat. But also, I'm ready to present with you about Wakelet. If any of you that are watching either live or this replay, because you know all of the AppSmash sessions are recorded and found on the Wakelet YouTube channel. You know that you can find out more about Wakelet and Lumio and all the previous sessions. But if you are new to Wakelet, Wakelet essentially is a platform where you can save, organize, present, and share and showcase anything inside of Wakelet. So you've seen a lot of that the last couple of days where you can bookmark any URL, you can bookmark a Wakelet collection, and then you can take those URLs, those bookmarks, those images, and you can pull them into collections. Now, Kacie is presenting from a collection today. So we're showcasing and modeling what presenting from a collection might look like. And then, if you will, all of those collections pulled together or curated together created a profile, a Wakelet profile. And on your profile, you can make certain collections public or private, and then create a digital portfolio or your own personal and professional digital showcase. So essentially, in a nutshell, that is what Wakelet is if you are brand new to Wakelet. But if you have any questions, make sure you are putting them in the chat. I see now a lot of people are saying which team they're on. Sandy, unfortunately, Kacie is on Team Control. It's okay, Sandy. We know that we need you and Team Control to balance us out. So we definitely are reflective in that, and we acknowledge it. But there will be a lot of ideas. So make sure you're either taking notes or asking questions. The more questions you ask, the better, because Kacie can address those. And she is going to address, I saw one question earlier on how to get started with Lumio. She's already got you covered. She's going to walk you through that. So Kacie, again, I'm going to let you take over.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I also saw a great question about, how and why. Why should I use Lumio and Wakelet together? So I think that's a great question too. And as Tisha mentioned, I will help you guys get started. Lumio is a free tool that you can start using today. You will have access to this Wakelet board that we're sharing today. So you'll have everything that we're sharing, all of the resources. As I slide down in this Wakelet board, one of the things you'll see is this AppSmash Festival, Lumio plus Wakelet together. And I think Wakelet and Lumio are great together. And honestly, just mixing and matching lots of different tools, I think is great because it really allows our kids to have some freedom of choice, really giving them a voice over what makes sense for them and sharing their ideas. So if you click on, when you click on this, it's going to take you to another Wakelet. And I love how we can have a Wakelet inside of a Wakelet. I do that often. And this Wakelet board will have a lot of helpful things for you. Number one, it'll have that same slide on what is Lumio, which we talked about. You can actually click the Lumio icon and get started for free, get signed in right away. But I will also tell you how to do that as we're talking. It will also have like, how do I get started in 5 easy steps? How do I keep learning? And then if you want to join the community and connect with other educators, how you can do that as well. And you'll also find my contact information. So if you have any questions, if you want to go over anything, if you want to brainstorm ideas, please let me know. That's what I'm here for. So now let's talk more about why. Like, how are we going to use Wakelet and Lumio together? And so to me, there's sort of 2 ways that we've talked about. Tisha, you and I have talked about this several times, 2 different ways that we might think about doing this. One, we have a true student-paced lesson. So everything they need to walk through the beginning, middle, and end of a lesson with, starters and reflections and things like that. And it may involve more than one tool, right? And then we also have this playlist idea, which I think is really nice as well. So you're going to see when we look at these 2 examples that you're not going to only see Lumio activities. You're going to see a combination of some things. So I'm going to actually go ahead and open this student growth and mindset playlist. And what, again, a Wakelet inside of a Wakelet, right? How many can we fit all together?
That's a great question. And I guarantee you, Kacie, somebody's going to try to find out that answer.
How you can do that, right? So I love with Wakelet, and Lumio also has the ability to add ad-free YouTube videos within a lesson. But sometimes when I'm doing a playlist, I like to be able to use Wakelet to kind of layer things in differently. So we're using the YouTube from Wakelet right here. One of my favorite videos on the science of character. And then you'll see right underneath there, I have a game that we've created in Lumio. So as I mentioned, we have 12 different game-based templates that you can create your own games, or you can search for ones that have already been created and sort of mix those pieces together as part of an activity. So we're actually going to pause going through this playlist, and I'm going to bring you back to this playlist in a minute, but I thought it'd be good for you guys to actually see what it looks like to join an activity like this squiggle activity. So I'm going to pop over to a new tab. If I was a student, I can actually click on this link and just get started, but I'm going to have you guys join my lesson as a teacher. So we're going to have Tisha put in my special class code right here. And yes, you guys can click just that class code. And that class code, you'll be able to join as a guest, enter your name, and that will pull you into this game right away. So I'll see you guys coming in. So again, that class, I can see Martha's already in here. That class link will pull you right in. I could also have people go to hellosmart.com and enter their class ID, or you could grab your phone or iPad and scan this QR code to join. Lots of ways to join the activity.
This is so great because if they are Wakelet users, they also are used to this. They can either go to the link, or they can scan a QR code, or they can use a join code, which I think a lot of the platforms are very similar in that. The link is in the chat. So if you need to grab that link, just scroll up so you can join Kacie's Lumio activity.
Yeah. And so again, it's just hellosmart.com, enter class 311, or scroll up to just click on that link. That's pretty fast. And you can do a quick QR scan.
Hey, Kacie, while we're waiting on a couple more people to join, Martha has a great question. How is Lumio different than Nearpod or Pear Deck?
So many different great tools, right? Nearpod and Pear Deck are great tools. I use those in my classrooms as well. I love to have a variety for my students. Some things I like about Lumio is some of the game-based activities, some of the ready-made content that we already have, some of the variation. And I love too how no matter what version, no matter what, I can switch back and forth as often as I want to between teacher and student pacing. I can start my class whole group, then I can come and grab a student share link and have students work on that, complete it independently as well. I love some of the data that's connected also. This game is called a rank order, which essentially was built to do things like, rate things from greatest to least, or least to greatest, or ABC order, or lightest to heaviest. But what I love about it is you can also set up this game so that it is an opinion-based activity. So in this case, there's no right or wrong answers. You're thinking about looking at these squiggles. Which squiggle are you most like? Kind of like Team Chaos or Team Control.
I was about to say the exact same thing, Kacie, because if you scroll up, Alex Isaacs, who is a Wakelet certified trainer and an ambassador for many other platforms, he's probably going to be so mad for me shouting that out. But he is probably immediately thinking of which squiggle you and I are as Team Chaos. He may have some issues. Team Control might have some issues, because I'm looking at this thinking if I was Team Control, I would expect to be asking, where is the straight line, right? Just the one line.
Where's that version of the squiggle, right? For sure.
Exactly.
I think I need to adjust this and add some other things for our team control.
Alex.
And drag and drop on what you think you are most to least like. And this is a great way to then have a conversation with your peers. And you can use this for lots of things. Like I could say, which events were most contributed to us start joining World War II to least contributed. And then I could have students have to defend their answers using primary sources and things like that. So you could use this in lots of ways. Or which character showed the most growth throughout the book? Things like that. I see you, Sandy.
Do you see Sandy? I know. See, Sandy, listen, I may not be Team Control, but I at least can empathize with that. I do understand it.
So what's great is I can model the activity, but then I can also pop over here to view progress. And you'll see that right now I can see 6 people have not started, 24 are in progress, and I have 27 that have completed the activity. And what's neat too is I can actually look at the class results as a whole. So here, now obviously this does not have right or wrong answers. If there were right or wrong answers, I would see what the average score was and what which answers were most correct, or which answers students were struggling with the most, and we could discuss and have a conversation about it. But I also, what's cool about when you do an opinion-based one like this is the average ranking of all 54 of us that have, or all 27 of us that have completed it. This is our average ranking. And you will see as others complete that our ranking may change over time. So I think it's really neat to be able to look as a class, like, if you did which characteristics are most important in a friend, or what things you most need in a classroom, and rank those. And as a class, you can talk about what are we looking at as a class. In each class, if you teach more than one class period, you might have different results depending on the personality of that classroom, which is really cool too.
This is honestly, I have not seen this side of it, Kacie. Kacie and I have done a lot of presentations together, but we've never done a live activity like this. And I think this is really, really fun because it applies to so many different things. I did see a question in the chat up earlier as far as how Lumio and Wakelet are different. Well, with Lumio, you're going to be able to get these live results, and you can do formative assessment with your students, and you can build lesson plans out. We're going to show you an example of that, but I think this is really powerful just to pop that in, whether that, I mean, could I do this with parents, Kacie? That's another question.
You could. So you could definitely, so I'm thinking when I would have like a back to school night, or parents were coming in for a meeting, and really being able to do some of these activities with them to build that engagement and get to know where your families are coming from. So this would absolutely be great for a parent night or something along those lines. Just really quickly, I did want to show that you do also have student progress. It will remind you not to show this screen if you're showing to the whole class, but we're brave, right? We can share. So I can pop in and see specifically how Alex.
Let's look at Alex. Yeah, we're gonna put it. He says he's a Lumio ambassador. Is that true, Kacie?
Welcome. I'm sure it is. So I love that we can do that. We have that data. And then I heard something about like what else, like, you know, how else is this different than Wakelet? So Wakelet and Lumio are really good partners. They're not the same tool, but they really work nicely to layer in and give our students different things that they can do and different ways to organize that information. So this is just another quick example. This is a ready-made graphic organizer that we have that I was able to customize and add specific questions. And right now you'll notice that you don't have any options of anything to do to this activity, but I can switch this so that I can give each of you your own copy. So as soon as I do that, you're going to see that now you can hit start. You have your own copy, and now you have tools going down the left side where you can begin filling in this graphic organizer, and I can check in and see your work in real time and give you real-time feedback, which is great. I can watch this at any time, which is fantastic as well. So I don't have to look at it right in the moment. I can look at it at the end of the day. All of the students' work saves automatically. So that's a quick look at an example of an activity or two activities that you can do within Lumio. There's a ton of other things that you can do with Lumio. You'll see Misty put a little green check marks that indicates that she thinks she's finished. I can let her know if I agree or disagree, and then she can continue working, because I have tools over here too. But what I really want to highlight is that how do we use these two powerful tools together? So I'm going to pop back over to that growth mindset one, and you'll see what we did is we have this video, right? So we have this YouTube video that we added through the options over here in Wakelet, which is great. And then what I did was I added that squiggle activity for my students to do. And the way that I got this built in here is I grabbed that student share link. So we have a share link that I can put into Wakelet and allow students to click on this activity and just get started. And again, when they start it, I'll be able to see their work now or next week or whenever I have time to look at it.
You know, Kacie, that the team control teachers are going to be looking at it immediately. The team chaos teachers are going to have to come back later, right? This is awesome. You know what I also love? You're showing so much about how, you know, the power of Wakelet, honestly, to house all of these tools. I see Flip, I saw Canva, and then you have a couple more examples. I mean, all of these examples are incredible. And just a reminder, all of you are going to get this collection in your resources. So don't worry. You're going to have all of what Kacie is showing. We've only got about 5 minutes, Kacie. So I'm thinking we go back and give them a little preview of the maybe the student paced lesson plan. And we want to just show you, Kacie and I have done several examples of this and presented on this. But again, she showed you that share link for students so that they could do self-pacing. You've now experienced that live link activity where you can see the results live. You can see we built out this lesson plan, and then there is an astronomy activity right inside of Lumio that you can go in and have your students do. So you will get this collection specifically as a resource. So when you get your resources, and I'll put that link to the form in just a minute, I will put it in there. I know you guys are waiting for that. But we want to also take you to this template here. So Kacie, why don't you pull that template up and let's talk about that before we put that link in the chat for them.
Yeah, so this is really that astronomy lesson. We kind of have different versions. So you can look at both. This one is kind of a streamlined look at how we might do this in the classroom. Mm-hmm. So having that intro, getting your kids to start driving and learning a little bit about the solar system, we have an interactive lesson through Lumio that they can go through on their own, kind of really build up their baseline understanding of the different planets and things along those lines. And then we have additional information, right? So we have further readings that they could do with different articles. So maybe they can choose, maybe they're not going to read all the articles, right? We're going to let them choose maybe which one that they want to focus on to gain more understanding. Or maybe they're going to choose one activity they want to do, one article that they want to do an activity around. And this gives them some additional options. So they might start with getting some baseline information and then think about what more do I want to know and which article do I want to start to dive into. And I love that it's so easy to add anything with that web link. So any of those articles, and everything's all housed in one space. So instead of kids having to jump from one place to another place to another place, everything's sort of all together.
Absolutely. So I've just popped that form link in the chat. So that is where you will fill out that form. You will get your certificate of attendance. The template that Kacie just shared will be included in your resources. You'll have everything that Kacie has shared today. And if you have any questions, again, Kacie, show them your contact information one more time so they know where to find that.
And I would also say, here's my contact information. And if you want to get started with Lumio for free today, you can go to golumio.com, which I have right here, but golumio.com. You just sign up with your either your Google or Microsoft account, and you can just get going and start playing around. And again, there are in this Wakelet, there's additional, like, how do you get started? How do you continue, and then connecting with the community so you can ask questions and get some more information as you start your journey. But I think that these two tools work really powerfully together, as well as the other partnerships that Wakelet has. I just think all of it makes for a really strong lesson for your students.
Kacie, thank you so much for joining. I just want to shout out Aaron says, thank you. A phenomenal session. I think it is so beneficial. And again, you know, you want your students and yourself to be interacting with each other, with the lesson, with the learning. And I think the partnership between Wakelet and Lumio really create the space for you to do that. Make sure you reach out to Kacie. Kacie, if you click your business card, it should pop up a little bit. It might not, but you guys can scan that QR code. You can email Kacie as well. And also you see www.golumio is where you can get started with Lumio. You also know if you're getting started with Wakelet, you'll go to www.wakelet.com. That form is in the chat. Again, I'll go ahead and post it one more time, Kacie. This is our very last session, and it makes me so sad because it's been such a great week. And with all of that, I just want to say to all of you, all of the sessions, since we're the last session, Kacie, all the sessions, every single session from the AppSmash Festival can be found on the Wakelet YouTube channel. That's going to be www.youtube.com/Wakelet. And you're going to go to the live videos. So when you click on live videos, you'll see Kacie's session. If you just happen to hop in at the end, you can see all of the previous sessions, and you can go back and watch those and really learn at your own pace. But we're all here to help you. And Kacie, thank you for co-hosting and presenting with me once again. We've had a really good 2023 together, because this is, I think, our third or fourth presentation.
Hey, I'm always willing to come back. I love it. It's so fun to talk about how to use technology to meet the needs of our students.
Absolutely. And all of you that have been joining, I think so many of you have been with us for either the entire 2 days or the majority of the last 2 days. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with us, to learn. Know that we see you, we appreciate you, and we just want to keep empowering you. So make sure you reach out to anybody on the Wakelet team and anybody on the teams of the partners, whether that's Lumio, Canva, Flip, Edpuzzle, anybody that you watch. We're all here to support you and make learning fun for you and your students. So Kacie, thank you. I guess it's time for us to officially sign off from the AppSmash Festival. Did you have a great time this week, Kacie?
I had a great time. Like I said, I learned lots of things, and I'm excited to put them all together.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll see you soon. Make sure you fill out that form and shout on social which session was your favorite for the AppSmash Festival. We can't wait to see you and engage with you on all of our social platforms. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.